Welcome to Mike's Literary Minute, where books can be listened to and enjoyed. My name is Michael. I've been listening to audiobooks now since the mid-'80s, and one that I want to go over today is one that I class as an oldie but a goodie, and that is Ralph Peters' War in 2020. Now, for the life of me, I cannot remember who read this book, but then again, finding this book on Audible in 2024 is not going to be easy. This was a cassette book that my sister picked up for me back in probably 2019, 18. Hell, I have no idea. All I know is it was an old book when I got it. It was on cassette. And the only problem I had with the book is I didn't check the cassettes before slapping them into my Walkman and wound up listening to the tapes out of order. Sad thing is, I was still able to follow the book when I put the tapes in order. It just made more sense. Now, what I like about the book? What I like about the book, at the time, 2020 was a long way away. It was the future. Now it's the past. And, you know, you listen to something from a dystopian future where the United States military isn't as good as it used to be. They go into a conflict trying to help and wind up getting the snot kicked out of them. Not saying that could happen today, but I digress. I just like the book. It was man against man, as it goes over the career of a soldier who starts out flying gunships, flying the old AH-6 Apaches, winds up getting thrown into pretty much World War III at the end of his career. And it is his story of how he is able to conquer some of his own demons and to help his troops along the way. There's side arcs with some of the other officers that are in his command. And I just thought it was a very well done book. Now, this isn't a bridge tape. I hate abridged. I really do. Many years after getting the tape, I did find the actual honest-to-God book and read the book cover to cover. And the stuff they cut out of the book to put onto the audio, yeah, all right, I can see why it was cut. Other than that, you've got the Russians in it. The Russians are on our side. They're trying to help us out, trying to get their land back from the Koreans, if I remember correctly. It was just a good, honest to God, just a good. You go to the movies, you get a good popcorn movie where you sit there and it's a great movie because you're eating popcorn and eating, drinking soda, and it just is a good time killer. This book is the same thing, but in audio form. It's got its ups, its downs. You get some payback. You get, a little bit on, socio-political tensions that not only were around when the book was written back in 91, but are still going on today. And you could honestly change the title of the book to The War in 2030 or The War in 2025, and you probably would be really close. It is, Ralph Peters knocked it out of the park when he wrote this book. It is one of those hidden gems. Now, I did check before recording this video. This recording is done on February 11th. Technically, it's Super Bowl. Technically, I should be watching it. Technically, I don't care. Ralph Peters is still putting books out. And this one is just one of those hidden ones that was done back in 91, towards the beginning of his career. You can still find it on eBay. There's actually a place I found it. You could download it online where you could subscribe to an account and they let you borrow the book for a certain amount of time, and you can actually read the book. As far as the audio, yeah, good luck. All right, the only reason I still have it is I was able to hook up a tape deck to a computer and record from the cassette onto the computer and turn it into an MP3. I was able to convert it into an MP3, and it has stayed with me the entire time. Collegiate scale. Everybody got a collegiate scale on this book. Collegiate scale on this book, honestly, I've kept it since I've had it in the mid-'90s. That adds, I'm going to purchase files. If I'm not using the file, I get rid of it. So to have the book this long puts it a minimum of a 3.5. Honestly, the book, probably a 3.6 or a 3.7. It, man against man, there's a little bit of man against nature. You deal with some of the some of the stuff, the intermilitary conflict and rivalry. Yeah, it's AirCav. I mean, come on. Who doesn't like the Army's AirCav? You don't like AirCav? Why are you even watching this channel? What are your thoughts? Have you ever heard of the book? Have you ever read the book? Have you ever listened to the book? Like, share, subscribe, do what you're going to do. Honestly, I really, really enjoy the book. I've listened to it probably, oh, jeez. Before putting it on MP3, I listened to it probably 50 times. The tapes were pretty thin and pretty worn out when I converted them over to MP3. Now, keep in mind, this is back in the 90s, and tapes were, you got a book on audio, you got a tape, and normally it was abridged. Unabridged were very expensive at the time. Now they're a dime a dozen. On an aside, this is not the only book I ever had to deal with where the recording is out of order. Now, I was able to fix this one because, well, I just put the tapes in the proper order, hit play, and life was good. I actually have a book from Audible. It is Jack Higgins, Year of the Tiger by Jack Higgins, that the recording version I have is out of order. And what it came down to is they did what I did. They apparently had an analog recording, dubbed it over into MP3 format, but when they saved it, it saved out of order. You actually start on the second side of the first cassette, and then you have to go a little bit, then it actually starts the book, then you listen to the first side. So it's kind of tricky, but, it's kind of funny, too, that even companies who their job is to make audio presentations will still mess up, and every now and then, it's probably one of maybe 100, 1,000 books where the chapters are actually out of order. But hey, it's happened to me twice. Once on Audible and once pulling it out of the package, unwrapping it. I believe it was a Christmas gift my sister got for me. And I loved it, wore the tapes out. As I said, if you ever heard of the book, if you have, kudos. Have you ever listened to it? Have you ever read it? As I said, the book itself, there are a lot of parts in the book that are not in the Audible. Or all in the audio, not Audible. What are your thoughts? Put comments down the bottom. Let me know. Tell me what you think. And we'll talk to you next time.